Hi everyone, today's video is coming out on International Mermaid Day, May the 29th. At least that's what I read online, that it's International Mermaid Day. Probably why all this month you'll have noticed, those of you who are into your art, and especially those of you who are on Instagram, that it's the Mer-May challenge. Now, originally, I wanted to do a doll based on a AI image of a mermaid doll, but literally this is the only one I could find, and considering how many wonderful actual crochet mermaid dolls are out there, it was kind of a disappointment. I mean, there are some beautiful variations, so much freedom with style on it. So instead, what I've chosen to do is I've designed my own mermaid, and I'm going to be creating this. But first, to get a feel for it, I am going to do a mermaid fin for a Barbie doll. Alright guys, so I have finished all of my taily bits for this mermaid. As you can see, I have attached the side fins. And I decided to do 4 of the base ones. Now I will say, if you do get this pattern, you really have to watch which row you're on with these things, because I mean, I wrote the pattern and I think I unpicked completely 2 of them because they just went completely wrong. It is going to be a bit tricky to follow. On the PDF, I will try spacing out the lines more. People will just have to let me know how it turns out. So I've got 2 ways I'm thinking about doing the fins. Either like on the on 4 sides, like north, south, east, west, like that. But I don't know, for me that looks a bit like an octopus. Or if we have both on the side like this, further down. So join the stitches there, and with the other side, maybe run a few securing stitches, maybe to about here, and then leave this loose. Now I really like the second option, but it's not going to be for me. It's going to be for my kids or any children. So I think we need what I'm going to call from now on the twin opinion. Twin opinion? Come on in. Now, you may be twins, but you can have a different opinion, okay? So, mermaid fin so far. Now, I have got 4 of these. So, there are 2 ways I'm thinking we could attach them. We could attach them like on the 4 corners. Like that. But I think that looks a bit octopusy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I could pin them in the sides there. And then this one would connect on the back. And it would join in the middle. All 4 of them would join in the middle. I would run a stitch to about there, so then they'd be loose. So this is option 2. The other one was option 1. So look at the camera and say option 1 or option 2.
Option 1 or option 2. on option 2.
Okay, so we have the mermaid all finished. See that there are slip stitches here, leaving these two open. And yeah, I quite like that. Now, there's absolutely nothing stopping anybody for putting even more layers to this, and that'd be really nice. It's not often I want to make something out of cotton, but I really do with this. You see, I did a bit of a bralette here as well. And actually, I'm really pleased with it. Because here on the back, these straps are actually joined together. So it means that it can very easily come off. You see? So that's just one piece there on the back. The bralette is going to be part of the pattern along with the mermaid fin. Pop it back on. Protect what dignity Barbie has left, although you have been topless for a lot of this video, Barbie, I have to admit. Oh, I missed the arms. May also notice that I've chopped all her hair off because this Barbie, I picked it up at a free fair for like £1, I think, and the hair was, I mean, it looked nice, but it had this horrible texture to it, so I couldn't take it anymore, so I chopped it all off. But well, never know, might be some experimentation coming with that one as well. I mean, at the end of the day, she's not one of my daughter's toys. She's my display Barbie, basically, for me to do things like this with. Right, so we're going to move on to the next doll now. And I was flicking through some inspiration, and I came across this cushion called White Horses by Zoe Potrak. And this fly out stitch here, I'm going to try and incorporate that in. So I'm going to have to do a little experimentation first to actually make sure I can create the stitch, and then yeah, start on the doll itself. Okay, this is driving me crazy now. So I started with this pattern. No, not that pattern. I started with this pattern. I did this. And it looks like feathers. Let's face it, it looks like feathers. So I then did this shell pattern here. And I didn't think it was enough because I like the 3D element on this one. So then I played around and I did this. And I was very happy with it. But then I tried to do it on the round for the mermaid tail for the doll, the main doll, and it looked rubbish. So I then went to do it in rows, and it was working well for a while. And now it just looks terrible. So I'm going to unpick. I'm going to try another idea. Alright guys, I'm not sure how much was on the time lapse. My girls have had quite a bit of things to do this week, so I've had to be crocheting on the go. So we have the fin all done and into the body. Yes, I said I wasn't going to use the orange again, but as you can see, that has failed because, well, I mean, my original design had orange in it as well, but I don't know, when I was looking for fish patterns that I wanted to incorporate, I just kept coming up with orange koi, and I just decided to roll with it. I actually now do regret not doing her hair in the orange as well. Here from the pattern, this is your place. Okay, so we've just completed a few rows here of the hair. The hair starts with a foundation treble stitch along. I have just shown that as well. So this is what we're going to aim for the hair. This is the front, this is the back. So what I'm going to do is I will show you this from the beginning. You are going to need a couple of stitch markers, it just helps. So this is our side piece of hair. That's how I'll be referring to it in the pattern. So it goes just above the eye here and runs back to the centre of the skull cap. My two colours that I'm using for the hair are yellow and blue. On the pattern, these will be referred to as your part 1 colour and your part 2. So this is going to be row 1, part 1, chain 5. This counts as a front post double triple stitch plus a chain 1. American terminology will be up on the screen as well. Right, so 2 loops over. We should be working here, but we're not. We're going to skip that one. We're going to go here. Front post simply means you are going, instead of working here, you're going to work here. You're putting your hook into your chain gap and pulling the stem of the stitch towards you, towards the front of the work. And work your stitch as you would normally work it. Chain 1, skip the next one, so we've reached the end here. I'm not going to put a chain 1 here. I'm going to pull my hook off and put a stitch marker in. I'm going to keep my work this way around and put my blue straight onto my hook. And I'm going to find the first missed stitch of part A of row 1, put my hook through, and I'm going to slip stitch this in place, and I'm going to chain 5. Once more, this chain 5 is counted as a front post double triple and a chain 1 throughout the entirety of the pattern. So now I'm going to work front post double treble crochet into each of the missed stitches from part 1 of row 1. Part A of row 1. This is part B of row 1. Okay, this is why I need to record it. I'm confusing myself. Once again, do not put the chain 1 on your last stitch. Take your hook out, put a stitch marker. Now we're going to turn the work. We are going to put our hook back on to the yellow yarn, which in the pattern will be referred to as your colour for part A. So this is row 2, part A. We are going to chain 5. Now we're going to do back post double treble crochets. So this chain 5 counts as one of them and a chain 1. Now we need to put the back post around this yellow stitch. Now we've got an opening here. Do not work here. You are going behind the blue, go around the yellow. So you can see from the front, you can see that your hook is now in front of the stitch, and work your stitch as normal. And continue that along. Once more, do not put a chain in here, put a stitch marker instead. We are not turning the work. We are going to pick up blue. We are going to repeat what we did with yellow. So this will be part B of row 2, and for me that colour is blue. There we go. Okay, so this is the wrong side of our work. This is the side that we don't want showing, but this is the side that we do want showing. So this gives more of a, I guess, sort of, I don't want to say dreadlock because it's not a dreadlock look. Like a very like tight plaited look. There is a name for it and I can't remember. But as you can see, working through the backs
of both pieces of yarn, make sure that they're anchoring to each other. And you can have a lot more fun with this. You can then you can introduce a different colour or different even gradients of colour. So like the next time you need to use the blue, you could use a slightly lighter blue. And the same with the yellow. You could start going darker maybe into the oranges. I'm just going to stick with these two colours. But yeah, this isn't a stitch I use too often, but I don't know, I'm going to have to think of some things more to do with it. So that is going to be my mermaid's hair. But I'm quite happy with her. I mean, I didn't want her to look particularly doll-like. I did want to have this sort of unhuman appearance to her. And yeah, I quite like that. I've just felted some little bits for the face. I'm very happy with how her hair is as well. So it ended up being 3 pieces for the hair. This first piece, second, and the third. The third originally was going to go across here, but it just looked weird. And I actually think it looks quite nice all slicked back. Right, so the mermaid tail here has all been worked in back loops only to give this ridge. What I am going to do is I'm going to do scales using a shell stitch on the exposed loops, but I'm only going to do it on the actual orange pattern pieces. I did consider doing the orange of the body in the back loops only to continue the scale effect all the way up, but on second thoughts I just decided to leave it. The arms done as well. They're going to be attached using the button join method, where we put a button in the body and a button in the arm and we thread through so the arms will actually be able to move. Right now I'm just going to finish my fin tail. I joined a ring of 12 to the base of the tail, and each one of the 12 has a fin on. I did want them all silver, but I'm running out of the grey silver colour, so I'm going to do the remainder in orange, then I'm going to run a border of silver around the orange ones and put a orange border around the silver ones. Then we'll get everything attached as well. So thanks for coming on this Mer-May journey with me. I am extremely pleased with how she's turned out. I definitely think the issue I was having with the tail was that there was simply too many scales. Now unfortunately the pattern is not going to be available on my Ravelry page or on my Ko-fi page just yet, because we're going away and I won't have time to type it all up, because what I want to do is I want to create a grid for people to be able to design their own patterns with it, so my pattern won't include these patches here. Hopefully the Barbie pattern will be available though by the time it releases. If not, I'll inform you in later videos or on any other of my socials when they'll actually be ready to go up. So yeah, check out my other socials, like, subscribe, share this video, and happy Mer-May everyone. Bye.